All right, let's talk about something that hits home for, well, every single one of us. It's this idea of reaching our full potential. You know, we all have these incredible, unique talents inside us. But what's that one big thing that just holds so many of us back from really, truly going for it? You might be surprised by the answer. Let's dive in. So think about these three people for a second. You've got Michael Phelps, an absolute legend in the pool, Simu Liu, who became a Marvel superhero, which is awesome, and of course Mariah Carey, a voice that completely defined a generation. I mean, these are people who reached the absolute pinnacle of their fields. But when you look past all the fame, all the awards, what's the real thing that ties them all together? It's actually a pretty simple but really powerful idea. Let it sink in for a moment. Yep, that's the thing. They didn't just stumble upon a hobby or a job they were good at. No way. They found what they were meant to do. It's like they connected the dots between their natural gifts and their biggest dreams, and then they just went for it. And here's the kicker. We all have that same potential. Every single one of us. Okay, so if we all have this potential, why do so many of us feel, well, stuck? What is that giant wall that keeps us from chasing our own version of greatness? For a whole lot of people, it boils down to one simple 5-letter word: money. Let's really dig into this idea of the money barrier. It's this massive force that can totally shape our choices, our stress levels, and honestly, our entire lives. And it often starts way, way earlier than we think. Take this story from a guy named Michael Kim. He remembers being about 8 years old, and he saw his mom just break down crying after a phone call. He found out later that it was a debt collector on the line, threatening to take their house. Can you imagine? That one single moment planted this deep seed of fear about money that stuck with him for years. And this timeline, this is a story so many of us can relate to, right? That anxiety from childhood leads us to make safe choices when we're young adults. We steer clear of the things we're actually passionate about, like art or music or starting a business, because they feel way too risky. But the good news is this cycle can absolutely be broken. For Michael, the turning point was after graduation, when he finally learned how to manage his money. That was the key that unlocked everything else. So why is it that having a handle on your finances has such a huge effect on whether or not you can chase your dreams? Well, the answer is actually rooted in some pretty basic human psychology. Okay, so you probably remember this from a psychology class back in the day, right? Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The whole idea is pretty straightforward. You can't even think about reaching the top of the pyramid, that whole becoming your best self thing, self-actualization, if the bottom layers aren't solid. And guess what secures those bottom layers? Food, safety, shelter. Yep, money. It's the tools. So if you're constantly stressing about where your next meal is coming from or how you're going to pay rent, your brain literally can't focus on anything else. It's just stuck in survival mode. I want you to stop and really seriously ask yourself this question. If all the bills were paid, if your future felt totally secure, what would you do? Would you finally start that business, write that novel, travel the world? What's that thing you've pushed to the back of your mind? Because that question, that gets right to the heart of what becomes possible when we tear down that money barrier. Tearing down the barrier sounds amazing, I know, but how do we actually do it? Well, here's the best part. Managing money is a skill. It's not magic, and it's not something you're just born with. It's something anyone can learn. And it really just boils down to mastering 3 key things. It's as simple as this. You have to learn how to make it, how to save it, and then, the really important part, how to invest it. Let's break them down one by one. First up, making money. You know, when you strip it all down, money is just a tool we use to exchange value. That's it. So the logic is super simple. If you want to make more money, you have to figure out how to provide more value to other people. That means finding a problem and becoming the person with the skills to solve it. It doesn't matter if you're a coder, a writer, or an artist. The more value you create, the more you can earn. Okay, skill number 2, saving it. And this one is all about finding the right balance. Look, spending money on stuff today feels good. We all know that. But if that's all you do, it creates a ton of stress down the road. The real goal is to find that sweet spot where you can enjoy your life right now, but you're also intentionally setting yourself up for a secure, stable future. And how do you find that balance? You need a financial plan. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like a GPS for your life goals. You just plug in your starting point, where you are right now, and your destination, where you want to be. The plan then gives you the turn-by-turn directions, telling you exactly how much to save and how much you can spend to make sure you get there. But here's the catch. just saving money isn't quite enough. And that's because of this little sneaky thing called inflation. It's why a cup of coffee that used to cost $1 now costs you 5. Over time, inflation just eats away at the value of your cash. That $100 bill in your wallet today is going to buy you a lot less 10 years from now. So how do you fight back? The answer is investing. And wow, this chart really shows you the night and day difference. Let's just say you've got $10,000, okay? If you stick that in a regular bank account for 20 years, you'll come back to, well, $10,000, except now it buys way less stuff. But what if you invested that same 10 grand and got a pretty average 8% return? After 20 years, you're not looking at 10,000, you're looking at more than $46,000. That's the magic right there. Investing is how you make your money work for you. It's how you go from just saving to actually building real lasting wealth. Okay, I just used the words wealth and rich, and I know for a lot of us, those words can feel a little icky. They just come with a lot of negative baggage in our culture. So I think it's time we redefine what that really means. Let's completely flip the script. The old way of thinking is that wanting to be rich is greedy, right? But what if we looked at it like this? Becoming financially secure isn't about greed. It's about giving good people, people just like you, the resources, the time, and the energy to do more good in the world. Here's a perfect real-life example. Michael Kim had a friend who did everything you're supposed to do. Great school, great job, but she was still drowning in debt. As soon as she learned these 3 skills we've been talking about, everything changed. She didn't just fix her own problems. She ended up starting a nonprofit to help kids in her community. Her financial freedom gave her the power to help other people. This quote is just perfect. Think of money as a microphone. It doesn't change who you are at your core. It just makes you louder. So in the hands of a not-so-great person, yeah, it can cause more harm. But in the hands of a good person, it becomes this incredible tool to do more good. It just amplifies the person you already are. And that brings us to this final, really powerful idea. Getting your own finances in order is not a selfish act. Not at all. In fact, it's the exact opposite. It's the very first step in starting this amazing positive chain reaction. Just think about it for a second. When you're not stuck in survival mode anymore, you finally have the bandwidth to help your family, to support your friends, to lift up your community. And then, because they're more stable, they have the ability to help others. It's this incredible ripple effect of good that all starts with you taking that first step. So let's end on this thought. Learning how to manage your money effectively, it's not just about buying nice things or having a big bank account. It's about unlocking your own true potential so that you can become the person you were meant to be. And by doing that, you create a better world for everyone around you.